That's the morning ride on Delta Television, and time now for us to review the papers, what's trending in the national dailies, and we have here with us Mr. Henry. Mr. Henry, welcome. Thank you for always being here.
Good morning, and thanks for having me this morning. Good morning to you, Lilibet.
Good morning. So, Lilibet is going to kickstart with what we have for you on paper reviews this morning.
And let's take the Punch newspaper as our first paper for review. TUC NLC split as DSS wants Labour against planned protests. Lagos prophet drowns during Valentine's Day beach hangout. Edo APC welcomes rerun after controversial government primary. 10 billion naira fraud. EFCC to arraign Esquire governor Friday. Bank sells $172 million as CBN. EFCC battle currency speculators. Shuaibu, Igodalo, others jostle for 563 Edo PDP delegates votes. Court denies Anambra lawyer bail for brutalizing maid. Okay, that's the story of that lady that brutalized the little girl. Police nab 4 fake soldiers and recover ammunition in Lagos. That's on the Punch newspaper. Our next paper is, let's take a look at the Tribune, the Nigerian Tribune. EFCC raids bureau the change operators in Abuja, Ibadan, and Kano. Labour Party Chairman Aburi arrested in Edo. Emefiele threatens to sue Akpabio for 25 billion naira over alleged defamation. Arrest anyone planning to use our protest to cause crisis. NLC charges DSS. Akeredolu raised his voice to speak truth to power. And that's what is credited to Ayedetiwa. Fresh APC primary. NWC sacks Uzodinma, replaces him with Cross River governor. Ryder Benit says inconclusive poll to be concluded today. PDP to hold primary election amid tight security. Senate to FG, don't increase electricity tariff. Lift sanction on Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. Gowon tells ECOWAS, says it's too early to judge Tinubu. FG set to begin direct cash transfer to 15 million Nigerians. And the head story on the Guardian paper, customs, 5 trillion naira target threatens trade, heightens price crisis. And on hardship, DSS, NLC in face-off over planned protests. That's on the Vanguard. Alright, and we have other story as Julius Abure's arrest re-emphasizes that Nigeria is plagued by lawlessness. And that story is credited to Peter Obi. EFCC, Nupeng, join forces against oil theft. FG transfers operations of largest hydroelectrical power plant to Nigeria, to Penstock Limited. Alright, and that's all we'll take on the headlines of all the dailies we have this morning.
Okay, so we have had them all reeled out, and I think we'll get started with the first story for Mr. Henry to actually look at it and see what he has to say concerning that.
Yes, let's look at the candidate of Labour Party, the person of Julius Abure. Says he has been rearrested. Okay, no, he has been arrested. Yes, he has been arrested. And as someone is saying that Nigeria is plagued with lawlessness because of his arrest. Can you speak to that quickly?
Yes, the arrest of Julius Abure, the chairman of the Labour Party, yesterday by Zone 5 in Benin, his hometown, or at his home state came to many people as a surprise. But to some onlookers, it was a storm already brewing, because few weeks back the estranged treasurer of the party came out openly and accused the said chairman of diversion of funds and fraud, which the chairman responded and the party responded to the fact that she didn't do right, first by not going through the proper channels, and two, the chairman in his own view said, in his own side, to defend himself, that the lady in question was trying to meet the chairman so that they would share some proceeds of the money, and he refused or stuff like that. And that way she went ahead and decided to fight dirty. So the whole this thing is neither here and there. I think it's still subject to investigation. But what surprises me is that the allegation now is not about the money that is being said that has been embezzled for nomination of form or interest form. The issue is now is attempted murder and different other charges that have been brought against them. I was listening to the first PRO yesterday in Benin, Jimo, and was saying so many things. And there was one thing that struck my mind, and that's why I'm looking at it from a different dimension. He kept on using the word the factional chairman. And to the best of our knowledge, I don't know about Labour Party having a factional chairman or having a faction of the Labour Party. I know there was a time this Lamidia Papa was trying to cause some kind of ruckus. There was a lot of furor in the media, especially during the court cases. But I saw that was diversionary, and that was used by people who were trying to destabilize the Labour Party. So for him to be using the word factional, that the police has to be very careful not to dabble themselves into politics.
Yes.
And that's what it seems like. For now, there are still allegations. But newsflash, just a few minutes before I got to the studio, he has been released on bail. Aburi. That's the latest now. Just a couple of minutes ago, he was just released on bail. So I think it's left for the authorities to do the right thing by investigating. But I think there's been a lot of problem in the Labour Party with the chairman. This is not the first time we're having issues. There are a lot of people who also left the party too, and in the wake of the elections, after the elections. I think the party has to look within itself if it's time for Julius to go, because whether we like it or not, Labour Party had been in existence before February 25 last year. It took the man, Peter Obi, whose political, how would I put it now, his own, the fact that as a person he was an icon, and that brought the Labour Party into form and became so popular. And so if you notice, after the presidential elections, many people, and National Assembly elections, many people couldn't win their seats because many people voted because of the man Peter Obi, not just because of the party. So the party has to put itself in order, because elections, cycle elections are in September in Edo State and other places. If they don't put their house in order, keep having these issues. Labour Party might not even win a single seat in next elections.
Okay. Next story.
You're actually correct there. The police should not actually dabble into political stuff, because whatever happens within a political family, they will definitely sort it out. So why drag? But they're good at
But at times too, they do come in because of the role they play as far as security is concerned. Perhaps that there are issues.
There's always a limit. Like I said, the issue now is, they said there's an attempted murder and threat to life and stuff like that. Focus on that and stop saying factional chairman. It's not
focus on that and stop looking at the political.
Yes, it is the court that will determine if there's a faction in the party and stuff like that. Everybody will just pick that, pick holes in that particular statement. Why are you saying factional chairman?
Alright,
that's not their business actually.
Naira crisis. EFCC raids bureau the change operators in Abuja, Ibadan, and Kano. My question: are they really the problem?
Well, they are part of the problem.
Are they the main problem?
No, they are not the main problem, but they are part of the problem.
Okay.
And if they are part of the problem, you have to also eliminate the problem. And in the first place, in Sena clients, I don't know if you will hear this anywhere in the world, but only in Nigeria. Why would you even have the bureau de change? I'm not talking about, they are licensed bureau de change operatives.
Yes.
Those when you see, if you go to Bogonogo, you see some kind places staying on the road, when they just see you well dressed and they want to harass you, or that,
you drop the bag off your shoulder.
Those sets of people are not supposed to even exist in the first place.
But there
is the kind of country.
The main person go to
the problem now is, like I said the other time, we created the problem. Like Hosea 8 verse 7, I'm trying to be biblical at this today, is trying to tell us, if you sow the wind, you will reap the whirlwind. We sowed the weed in the first place. These operators, of these illegal operators who are not licensed, are not supposed to operate in the first place.
Okay.
That is one. Secondly, the banks, the commercial banks, are the main problem here. Because the CBN will give them the rates to sell, and probably 400 or 400 and something, and these commercial banks will hoard this cash and rather find a way to get it across to these persons we're talking about now, who will in turn they make a lot of gain, and they take the profit they gain from that back to the banks. But when you go, even when you have a DOM account and you have something in your dollar account and you want to go and withdraw that dollar, you won't get that foreign currency. They will tell you it's not available, and this is your money. But when you want to go and buy, you understand, so you even go to the bank, you won't even get it.
Now, some persons have even opined that some of the financial problems we're having this time are caused by banking sector.
I agree. Totally. But that is also where the CBN comes in, because the CBN is a banker's bank, and there's a bank of policy, and the bank who regulates its commercial banks. So that's where we also put in the footsteps of the CBN to take decisive action. You should tighten their monetary and fiscal policies to ensure that the banks fall in line. And even the Bureau de Change operators that are licensed, it should only be the Bureau de Change operators that are licensed. And they should try a way to digitalize their system so that any operations they do, they'll be getting all the feedback directly, because everything will be run online. But this thing is not done online. I can decide to sell at any rate. You won't know unless you see me in the act. So these are the issues. And the reason I said these are also part of the issue, because these are the people who speculate this dollar. Some have already speculated 2,000 a long time ago. These are the people who are causing this all the time. It's almost like, as today it was 1,900.
Due to speculation.
I'm telling you. So that's why the swapping on them is okay, good development, but I think it's still cosmetic.
Go back
at
to the
best.
bank.
Yes, they should totally scrap those illegal. If they want to be part of the process, let them be licensed. And when they are licensed, there should be a regulatory, legal and regulatory framework on how to operate, like digitalizing, their operations. That's the way to go.
Okay, fine. The next story.
Emefiele threatens to sue Akpabio for 25 billion naira, over alleged defamation. Emefiele threatening to sue Akpabio.
That's actually something that's going haywire on the internet. I mean, the statement made by Akpabio.
I see you are laughing. It's like saying somebody who is in prison.
Someone that has a lot on his plate already, and I won't come out, wants to sue.
But I think he's within his right to do so.
He has the right.
If anybody has impugned on your integrity or trying to paint you black and which you are not, you have every right to seek redress. So I think it's left for the court.
But was Akpabio actually wrong in that statement?
I wouldn't know. It's left for the courts to decide. But I think Akpabio was so much in a hurry. I think he was trying to play to the gallery. The matter is before the court of competent jurisdiction. So who are you to play the judge, the umpire in this case? Let the court determine if the number of count charges against Emefiele are true or not. If they are found to be true and is culpable, the law will take its course.
But what did I want to ask? That this is actually a statement on the social media, on the internet. Did he actually officially make that statement?
I don't think it's just on the social media.
Like before the House?
He actually did
before
that.
the Senate? He
doesn't have to do it in the Senate. And you know what they say, if he has even done it in the Senate.
He may have said it in passing. Did he officially make a statement in that regard?
See, we have to be very careful as public officials. He's a public official.
Okay.
Whatever you say, it's very important. Yes, and you see sometimes when you see them coming to say, I was quoted out of context. So if you know you're going to be quoted out of context, be careful. Choose your words wisely. Whether it was done officially in the Harlow chambers, I don't know, it wasn't even done in the Harlow chambers. Maybe it was done in the Harlow chambers. They will say this sanctity of the Harlow chambers, say everything said there is protected. But this wasn't done there. I think it was an official statement. He made that statement. And so he has not come back to debunk the claim. So even if his social media is carrying, he would have come to debunk the claim. I never said something like that. He didn't do that. So what I'm saying is that when a matter is before the court of competent jurisdiction, it's sub judice. It is sub judice to start discussing issues like that. He should allow the court to take its course and determine if this man is innocent or guilty. And the law will take its course. For you to now start impugning on the person's integrity and saying he's the cause of a problem. Emefiele is not
Yeah,
only
and
the
yet
cause
you
of
don't know what
Nigeria's.
to charge him.
Yes, it's not the only cause of Nigeria's woe. Yeah, he might be a part of it, but it's left for the courts to decide.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, the FG is set to begin direct cash transfer to 15 million Nigerians. My question is, how feasible is this, and who are those qualified to get this money? Because I don't see, transfer to 15 million Nigeria, cash transfer
How possible?
to 15 million Nigeria.
It is possible if we remove the Nigerian factor.
Okay.
Now,
That's just the
it
problem.
was 3 million households, and it was suspended at some point because they had to work on the modalities to ensure that they increase it to 15 million. For me, 15 million is even inadequate. Because the number of people, our population is about 200 million, as it were. So you cannot say just 15 million. But according to them, they said it's vulnerable
Group.
and what's the other language you use? Vulnerable and whatever household or less privileged persons, as the case may be. The point is, how do you determine who is vulnerable? How do you determine
How do you
those
get that database?
who needs it? Do we have a database that is working? Now, this is the issue I had the other time I was talking about. You have the NIN, you have the BVN, and I advocated for the fact that we need to have a unified, database, just like you have in America, in the US, we have the social security system, the social security number. Have one unified, and let us have it in a database that works, and that way you'll be able to know who and who is who. Just like the one they did, they gave governors money for palliatives. You and I know how the whole thing went. Many of them just shared peanuts. Many of them didn't even do anything. And then at the end of the day, people are still complaining because the money didn't get to people. Instead of giving the governors.
These measures are not even working. So why not put
I use the word in the first place, the Nigerian factor.
Yeah.
Ideally, it's supposed to work. If we have a database that has the name of everybody, has every details of everybody, what they need to do, the government do not even need to go through any person, any governor, anybody. Just go straight and tell you, go enter your number, fill in your details, and everything will be sent to your bank account or any means possible they are going to get to there. But when it goes through all these proxies, you had the situation of Zulum that sacked the chairman of the IDP, that was diverting funds that is meant for the internally displaced persons, stuff like that. Because Nigerians being who they are, many of them, they are good Nigerians anyway, many of them are so greedy that they want to just reap from where they did not sow.
Exactly.
And by doing that, they don't even care who gets hurt.
No, they don't care. They want to get rich quick.
Now, what do you think should be an alternative measure, since that the Nigerian factor might make this not to work?
The Nigerian factor has to do with you and I. Like I said the other time, it has to do with revolution of mind. We have to change our mindset on how we want things to work in this country. That's why sometimes I argue with my colleagues when they say our leaders are these, our leaders. I say, see, I do not subscribe to that. The leaders have their own fault because we've given them that mandate to represent us, to serve us. But we have a role to play, and the leaders are the products of the system. Not until we change our mindset. The other man in the street wants to increase the price of cement. He's so quick to increase it to 11,000, 13,000. Now that say take it to 7,000, 8,000. If you go now, he tells you he has already bought for but it didn't take you time to increase.
Yeah.
That is it. Bag of rice. We know things are difficult, but you raise it above 300%. Okay, see this issue now. It's not as if there's a fuel scarcity. They just because of the tanker drivers, as the case may be, and now you go to filling stations. Now some don't have fuel, some have. They hoard them. Some of them will just put only one pump. And you enjoy seeing people, going through the excruciating pains with long queues. I don't understand.
Even some, their machines will be working. Their machines that dispense money, their POS will be working, but they will deny that it's not working. And they'll place someone around that will be giving out.
Not someone around. Is one of them who owns the POS.
One of them. Okay, one of them owns
the POS. So you see what we're saying? It's on us.
It's on us.
It's on us. It's not about leadership. It's until we change our mindset. Things will not work, because naturally if a leader comes and has the right mentality or want to do the right thing, are we ready to really change our attitudes? This is the problem.
Okay.
Looking at this NLC and TUC planned protest, now the DSS is warning that they desist from the planned protest. TUC NLC split as DSS wants labor against planned protests. And also on the Tribune, we have it here that Okay. Arrest anyone planning to use our protest to cause crisis. NLC charges DSS. DSS is talking to the NLC. NLC is also giving it back to the DSS. This planned protest, it seems that the NLC have seen it coming, that something is going to go wrong.
Yes, I was waiting for this story. The thing is, it's very, very ludicrous to have this kind of situation. October 2nd last year, the two labor unions, TUC and NLC, met with the federal government and they came to an agreement on certain terms. They signed an MOU. One of the things was to ensure that they cushion the effects of the fuel subsidy removal, which includes getting CNG buses, compressed gas to be able to convey, Nigerians, as the case may be, and the wage award of 35,000 naira for 6 months, of which we know that most state governors did not pay, and even the state governors, some of them, like our state, paid only 10,000 for 3 months. It was supposed to be 35. Now the federal government is even saying they paid 4 months. That's federal government. So the state government is now left to have taken over that. Those are some of the issues. Now, coupled with the present inflation, which is about 29.9% as at last time, food inflation 35%, according to Nigerian Bureau of Statistics projection. Now with the hike in food prices, is a whole lot of problem.
Yeah.
Now on February 8th, both unions also came again and issued a 2-week ultimatum to the federal government that if these issues are not reversed in terms of making the policy changes, they will go on a strike. So they follow the due process, and it is right. It's within the right of every Nigerian, like I said the other time. Section 39 of the 1999 Constitution has altered, stipulates that as a citizen of Nigeria, you are entitled to protest. You have a right to carry placard and protest. So it's within their right to do so, provided it's within the ambit of the law. And I said the other time clearly that the police, or rather whoever is going out on that protest, does not need the permission of the police to do that, or the authorities to do that. You don't need it. The only thing you need to do, if you think like it's going to be hijacked, you can now apply to the police for a police permit to be able to protect the protesters. But even as it were, I want to commend the police in Oyo State when there was this hunger strike. Sorry, this protest against the high
in price of
yes.
Yeah.
The police were not told, were not written to, but they took it upon themselves. And you saw how they escorted the protesters and they ensured that everything went peacefully. That is what the security operators are supposed to do in the first place, and not dabble into bringing them with their innuendos, with frivolous statements.
Over
the years, you've seen the DSS, play some kind of ignominious role in terms of, instead of doing what they are supposed to do, they tend to dabble into politics. So it's very unfortunate that the DSS will be sending such advisory or sending such warning, or whatever name they want to call it. That is not their job to do. Now, if you read in Tribune how the Labour also responded.
Yes.
If you feel people are fomenting trouble, or you've heard that there are fifth columnists who will foment trouble, it is your duty to arrest them.
Yes.
And I totally agree, hook, line, and sinker. It's not your duty to start warning them. If you feel there's going to be a problem, all you need to do is to ensure that you make very good. If you've already identified elements, swap another. By the way, where was DSS when the price of things was skyrocketing? Where was DSS when things were beginning to, from going from bad to worse? They didn't see this person's comments. Now, this person are giving you 2 weeks. Why did it take you just less than 1 week to the time they were going to carry out their protest for you to issue that? So it doesn't make sense. So sometimes the DSS or security operatives should not be seen to be used as cat's paw of the governments to carry out, political witch hunting, as the case may be. Then we'll come to the other aspect. That's my concern now. There's a problem now because the TUC is not aligning itself with the NLC.
That's another issue.
Yeah.
Yes, that's another issue. And you see, an injury to one is injury to all.
Yeah.
And if you come together, it makes it stronger. But by the time you have division, TUC says not join, there is a problem. And this happened the other time when the TUC refused to join the NLC to carry out that 2-day warning strike. It wasn't as effective in the state. You saw it.
Eventually they joined.
And now the TUC, I read through, and they said the reason is based on the NLC president, Ajaro, taking a unilateral decision that is supposed to, affect the two of them. Both of you came and signed that agreement, the MOU, October 2nd. Both of you took the decision on February 8th, which is supposed to elapse. Today is 22nd, right?
Yes.
Good, supposed to elapse today. So two of them are supposed to come back to the table and decide what date are they going to use for the planned protest. Now they are saying the NLC went ahead to address the press without taking cognizance of the TUC. So they felt slighted. And according to them, they said this is the third time Ajaro has done it.
Yes.
So you see, it's a problem. So when things have to be done, it has to be done properly. You know, you are fighting a cause. You cannot fight it alone. NLC is for some certain segments of the workforce. TUC has another large following. So if
there
you must
be a synergy.
Yes, there must be a synergy. That's the right word. So if you must win this fight, both of you have to come together. And that is sending wrong signals. So
yes,
I just
sending wrong signals to different bodies.
Of course.
Those that they over first.
Who wouldn't want it to happen in the first place? So it is better they go back. I still believe it's not late. They can still come back and reach out and harmonize view. And probably the date might not be okay because they didn't, consult each other. You're supposed to consult. It's just like a husband and a wife. Because you feel I am the man of the house. And also you feeling I'm the man of the house. You can't. And that is why it's called better half.
Yes,
that means you are just only half. You need the decision of the other person to take a decision. No matter how manly or masculine you are. That's what I will do.
You see this story, Senate to FG, don't increase electricity tariff. Don't increase electricity tariff. And to investigate 2 trillion naira subsidy. Okay, let's stop at that. Don't increase electricity tariff. But we know that the tariff have been increased, whether it came from the whether it came from the FG or it came from the body, the electricity body. But there's this other issue that have been biting hard on Nigerians, especially those using estimated bills. You give them bills of what they don't consume, and when you ask questions, you wave it aside. Do you think this electricity, or is it the BEDC staffs or the body, if they're actually doing right? I
think it's not up to BEDC. BEDC anyway is just one of the discos.
The
you have the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, you have the Enugu Distribution, you have the Ikeja Eco Distribution. They are much. So those are discos.
Let's just leave it at the power supply.
Yes, so let's leave it at the doorstep of the NERC.
Okay.
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, and the necessary bodies. I think it's not a place for the Senate to wade in. It is part of the oversight functions to wade in when things are not going on well. There are two sides to the story. One thing is to also increase tariff. There's also another something going on about removal of electricity subsidy.
Okay.
So it's like these people just want to kill us.
I tell you.
They just want to kill us. You only mention of the fact that the president at his inaugural address when he was sworn in said fuel subsidy is gone without consulting, without making measures, putting measures in place to cushion the shocks. You just mentioned it. The country has not recovered since May 29th last year.
Now you are bringing the issue of electricity.
So I wonder how some of our leaders do things. That is why you have people. You don't take decisions on your own. You call relevant stakeholders and find a way and find a better way. Now, you
say relevant stakeholders. How relevant are these stakeholders? Because so far, the decisions being taken has not had any positive effect on the masses.
That is why I said relevant stakeholders. Relevant stakeholders include you and I. Okay. You have the consumers, because there's no way you can have the NEROC, you have whatever bodies, the DISCOs, the TCN, all of them. You must have them on board. Everybody will bring, we have issue with tariff, we have issue of how to generate power, the megawatts and the rest of it, and we the consumers will also bring our own to the table, and at some point we reach a common ground on the best way that we will be good for everybody. Everybody smiles, everybody goes home happy at the end of the day. But the situation where a few persons just come and take a decision, in short, these hikes are just done arbitrarily without consulting anybody. On top of that, you want to increase the tariff. On top of that, you want to remove the electricity subsidy. That means you just want to strangulate us. Despite the excruciating pains we are going through. Now, the issue of prepaid meter and the issue of estimated billing, that's part of what we're talking about now. By now, we shouldn't be talking about estimated billing. And you should also know that most homes have not been metered in the first place. Most homes do not even have meters.
Yes.
So it's a whole lot. It's a gamut, plethora of problems. that the government of the day has to do to ensure that all homes are metered in such a way that, yes, you can now say you have social household metered and put everybody in the prepaid meter. The other time we heard again that because of the forex, because everything is sourced, why would we source everything abroad? The prepaid meters now is going to be increased because it is being imported into the country. So there are a lot of issues that irrelevant stakeholders need to come to the table and discuss and find a way. The suffering is too much on Nigerians. Don't add to the suffering by increasing in it. You know, even the reps on his own was even saying the other day, that was yesterday too, there's a 60% hike in law school fees. And the reps was saying they should halt it. Yeah. And I'm still saying, well, that is good. But where were the House of Reps when universities, institutions were increasing their tuition? How come they suddenly woken up? Is it because some of them have their children in law school, or some of them are running program in Nigerian law school? Now this, you know, because we don't have to be selfish.
It's only when it affects them.
Of course, you don't have to be selfish because it has been a hike in school fees across board, whether state and federal universities. So this is not the right time.
This is not the right time for increasing anything
at all. We have to find a way to cushion the effect. First of all, then when we get out of the woods, you can now talk about increasing. And if it has to be done, it has to be done gradually. Don't take it 100% or 300% like most people do. You know the one I'm even afraid of? Landlords now are waiting in the wings.
Yes.
Very soon, especially in Asaba. I'm telling you, many people are going to be homeless. It's unfortunate. If this thing is not stemmed in the tide, many landlords, especially the Shylock ones, will capitalize on the fact that this is going on, and they won't even consider, you know, the plight of people, and being the fact that Delta State or Asaba, as it were, is purely civil service staff, and you see at the end of the day they will increase, and that's my fear. The way these things are going, everybody's just finding a way to just, you know, take advantage of the situation. It's a dog-eat-dog affair, and it's not healthy for us. I pray God to just make us go through this.
Let's delve a bit to domestic violence.
Okay.
Yes, it's beginning to trend again. At a point, I thought we've actually passed that phase, but recently we've got so many stories concerning domestic violence. In Ebonyi, wife pushes husband to death from two-story building. Wife pushes husband to death from two-story building. Imagine the mindset. The balls to push down your husband, your better half, like you called it. Two-story building, not without even thinking, no conscience. And then court denies Anambra lawyer bail for brutalizing maid. I believe you watched that video. I still have that video on my phone, where the Anambra lawyer brutalized the maid, and apart from that, she went further to say, you cannot do me anything, you cannot arrest me, and stuff like that. But some persons feel that they are above the law. And now she's requesting for bail. After what you should see what she did to that little girl, and now she's requesting for bail. But the good thing, the court denied her bail for brutalizing maid. And then moving to Lagos, police nab 4 fake soldiers and recover ammunition in Lagos. On the street, we have fake military personnel. How do we identify them? Now, these are like 2 stories in one. So let's get your feedback.
Yes, first about domestic violence. It has been with us for a very long time. It's not just today.
Very rampant.
Yes, but oftentimes we keep hearing more of the male being the person who is the
victim.
Huh?
Who is dishing out?
Or who is the victim?
Yeah, no, not the victim.
Okay,
the female is the victim. But like you heard about the situation, I think it has to do with our mental state of mind. I think it's not enough to arrest persons who are involved in this. They should be meant to go through psychiatric evaluation because it shows that their mental state is not proper. For whatever argument you have with your husband, to you to have pushed, it's beyond comprehension. And for the other lady, it was a gory sight.
And so a lawyer, the lady is even a lawyer for
that shows you, it doesn't matter what you study, it doesn't matter whether you went to school. That's why you see some people go and you say he's an educated illiterate. You see the way people behave, and you have to say, let me use the local parlance. You even break chalk at all. Because the way the person behaves, it doesn't matter whether you have as many degrees. It's the individual, because sometimes you go through the system doesn't pass through you. So what it means is that the heart of man is desperately wicked. I think what they should do, yes, they call denying her bail, fine. they should expedite action on that case to ensure that justice is done. I want to believe the police have finished their investigation. Okay, if you know you did the right thing, why did she abscond in the first place? I'm sure she had to have a rethink to have surrendered herself to the police for them to, judge the case. But it's left for the authorities to do. But I think they should do right by making it serve as a deterrent to others. I also want to put it on the doorsteps of the parents. I keep saying this. Manage yourself. If it's Gary you see to eat, drink. Stop giving your kids out to people, whether family members or they won't be able to take care of your children as much as you will take care of them. Because if the parents of that girl do not give that child out, they won't see that child to brutalize. Yeah. On the issue of fake soldiers, this has been going on for a very long time.
Yes.
That is why we have to be vigilant. Eternal liberty, eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. We have to be vigilant. And it's not just on the security operatives. Yes, they have to do what is right, but we as individuals too have to be vigilant. Whether you like it or not, there's a way you see something happening, report to authorities. That's why sometimes I see these police officials, the way some of them do, the way they act in commando-like way. You see the way they act, you don't know the difference between whether they are SARS, whether they are whatever name they call themselves. They are just like criminals, the way they behave. So we have to be vigilant. That's the only way I can say be able to identify them. It's going to be difficult, but God help us.
Wow, so many things to talk about in our society today. Well, we pray that God helps us. Like Liberty said when we started our program this morning, there will always be light at the end of the tunnel. Of course. And then I want to say thank you so much, Henry, for being here to analyze these issues.
You're very welcome.
And we'll have more coming your way on Thursday morning, right? Going away.